Today, the Tour de France finishes at the Gavarnie-Gèdre, at the foot of Tourmalet, in some of the most dramatic mountain terrain in the entire Pyrenees. The riders have climbed through landscapes that most people only ever see from a distance. And up those high pastures, between 1,600 and 2,600 metres above the tree line, there is sheep grazing in total freedom. And they produce what many consider to be the finest mutton in all of France, and a meat so specific to this place that it is one of the first in France ever to receive an AOC designation for mutton. Today, we're talking about Mouton Barèges-Gavarnie. This is Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast, and welcome back to the Food Tour de France. I'm your host, Andrew Pryor. Let's start with a word that puts a lot of people off. Mutton. Mutton has a reputation problem. Most people associate it with something tough, strongly flavoured, slightly past its best. The meat of old sheep that have been kept too long, and taste of it. That reputation isn't entirely unfounded when it comes to badly raised, badly handled mutton for animals kept in conditions that do nothing for the flavour of the meat. But Mouton Barèges-Gavarnie is a completely different proposition. The meat is deeply red, vivid and bright, finely marbled with white fat that melts in the flesh during cooking. It gives it a quality that is simultaneously rich and delicate. The flavour carries clear notes of wild thyme and licorice, coming directly from the alpine flora that the animals graze on. It's smooth, tender, juicy, and carries almost none of the strong mutton odour that puts people off. This is mountain meat in the truest possible sense. And tasting it for the first time tends to change people's minds about mutton permanently. The animal behind the meat is the Barégeoise sheep, a breed specific to this valley system. Hardy, fine-boned, with a full fleece that allows it to handle the dramatic temperature swings between day and night at high altitude. It's a good walker, which matters because these animals cover serious terrain in their summer grazing. It's developed independently from the closely related Lourdes breed in the neighbouring valleys, evolving its own specific characteristics through centuries of life in this particular landscape, without crossbreeding between the valleys. The breeding cycle follows the rhythm of the mountain year. From late spring through to November, the animals go up, released onto the high summer pastures called estives, where they graze in complete freedom day and night on 25,000 hectares of wild alpine grassland. No fences, not even a shepherd present, more than once every 10 days or so. Though the tradition of permanent shepherds and sheepdogs is reportedly returning as bear protection laws have allowed local bear populations to increase. In the winter, the animals come down to the valley and are housed in barns, fed on hay, and that has been cut and stored in the area during summer. 20% of fodder can be sourced from outside the territory, but no fermented seed, no silage or shortcuts in spring or autumn during the transition periods. The animals graze the mountain zones at mid-altitude. Two types of animal produce this mutton. The Juan brebis, a young ewe between 2 to 6 years old, and the du blanc, a castrated male that has spent at least 2 summers on the high pastures. The du blanc is generally considered the finest, producing meat of exceptional depth and complexity from an animal that has had time to fully develop. It's on restaurant menus from June through to January. Outside that window simply doesn't exist. It's the kind of seasonality that most food culture has forgotten how to honour. The history of its AOP story is a story of survival. The breeders of the Pays Toy had been raising these animals in the landscape for centuries. But by the 1980s and early 90s, the economics were brutal. Imported sheep meat was cheaper, more widely available, and easier for buyers to source. The income from the local breed was declining. The sheep was at real risk of disappearing. In 1995, the breeders made a decision. If the quality of what they were producing was going to survive, it needed to be recognised and protected. They filed an application for AOC status with the INAO. It took 8 years, and the AOC was finally awarded in September 2003. the first ever for a mutton product in France. The European AOP followed in 2008, and the slow food movement included it in its Centennials of Taste program, a designation given to traditional food products of recognised quality that are at risk of disappearing. 10 years of work to protect something that had been there for centuries. The production zone covers 18 municipalities. The natural boundaries of the territory are defined by the mountain ridges and high peaks themselves. The 25,000 hectares of high-altitude summer pastures represent 60% of the total agricultural area of the territory. This is a landscape defined almost entirely by its relationship with these animals and this way of farming. The flavour profile, that wild thyme and licorice character from the mountain herbs. The fine marbling, the tenderness, it makes it versatile in a way that most people don't expect from mutton. A roast leg with haricot tabasse is one of the classic regional preparations. Chopped with a cream of wild thyme are another classic. Skewers of the mutton with licorice, green cabbage and Pyrenean chestnuts appear on menus across the region. A civet, a slow-cooked stew with red wine and vegetables, is the winter preparation. And a Navirian printanière, a spring stew with turnips and seasonal vegetables. It's the lighter option for when the first animals of the season come down from the mountain. That's Mouton Barèges-Gavarnie. Tomorrow on the Food Tour de France, another stage, another story. So bon appétit et à très bientôt.